I'm so excited to work on that beat that I started last night. I'm so excited, cause that beat sounded alright. Alright, I've had enough, and I assume that all of you classic MPC users know the struggle all too well. You save an awesome new beat to a floppy disk, but when you go to open it up later, you get the dreaded disk read error. Not to mention how much time you spent trying to track down floppies to buy, and then shelling out way more cash than they're actually worth. It's just, I'm done. I enjoy the nostalgia of floppies, but they're just more of a pain than they're actually worth. That's why I snagged up this bad boy, the Gotek USB-Floppy Emulator. So let's turn this into 999 floppy disks. Alright, so this tutorial is specifically for the MPC2000XL, but once the casing's off, it should be the same process on any early MPC. So for the 2000XL, start by taking off the 2 screws on each side. Next, I took out the 5 screws at the back, but I later realized I didn't need to. Oh well. And lastly, remove the slider's cap, put down something soft, and flip her over. Next, you're going to remove the 3 screws underneath the front panel, and then all of the screws on the bottom of the MPC, except for the 2 that are embedded. Now you can remove the bottom plate and the front panel. Now undo the screws holding the floppy drive in place, as well as removing the mounting plate attached to the floppy drive itself. And then very carefully shimmy it out of the casing. Okay, so once it's out, you're going to be super duper careful and attach the 2 cables that are on the drive. Make sure you keep note though of which way each cable is facing. Now after triple checking that everything is facing the right direction, plug the 2 cables into the Gotek. After trying to get the emulator in place, I ran into my first problem: zip ties. If you run into this problem, please take your time and be as careful as you possibly can, because if you cut one of these wires, it's game over. But once the zip tie was off, I was good to go. Just a quick note, there are holes on the Gotek, and they do line up with the holes on the MPC2000XL, but the screws for the mounting plate are too thick. So just steal 2 screws from the bottom of the MPC, it's no big deal. Now let's loosely put on the bottom plate and see if it works. So I put a couple of random samples into the MPC, and after formatting the first few partitions, I tried to save them. Now, they saved perfectly fine to the first partition, but when the MPC asked me to insert a new disk to continue saving, I changed the partition on the Gotek, but the MPC wouldn't read it as a new disk. Alright, let's flip it over and get back in there. So I did a little sleuthing online, and I found a blog post that I'll link in the description. The post said to make sure that the jumper is on the 2 posts marked MO, and the other jumper can just be removed completely. After doing that, I flipped the MPC back over to see if it did the trick. So once again, I threw a few samples in the MP, and after formatting the first few partitions, everything saved flawlessly. All that was left now was to button the XL back up and take this time to give him a nice cleaning. By the way, in the description, I'll link the Gotek emulator that I bought. It works. If this helped you out at all, please drop me a thumbs up, or better yet, subscribe. There's going to be lots more tutorials and beat making fun in the days and weeks ahead. But if you want more regular content, come hang out with me on my Instagram. Cheers!